Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining today's live webinar. Our host for today is Bashir Ahmed Zishan. Bashir has hosted webinars in the past as well. He is one of the top members of the Huawei Enterprise Support Community, a member of the Elite Users Club, which is basically our group of most active and most outstanding members of this community. Bashir is a IP telecom professional, a technical trainer, an experienced trainer from our past experience. And today, this session is about cloud native, Elastic Cloud Server, and Huawei Cloud. And I will let Bashir take over and start his presentation. If you have any questions during this presentation, please feel free to use the chat box where you can type in your questions, and Bashir will check it and see if you need any more information.
Sure. Thank you, Ms. Alina. Thank you for arranging this session. And I would like to welcome all. So today the topic which we are going to have is about Huawei Cloud. Basically, before going into the session, I would like to tell you little about what we will be doing in next 3 sessions, which is a part of webinar series. Like this is the first part of this webinar series, and let me show you over here. Just a second. Then I'll back. So basically, these are 3 sessions which we have decided uh, with Huawei. So in the first session today, we will be looking cloud native approaches and ECS, that is Elastic Cloud Compute service for the Huawei Cloud. And then we have a networking related seminar, and then we have enterprise solutions. So after just a quick introduction of the webinars which we are having in future, let's get back to the slide. So for today, the agenda is very simple. Start with the cloud and Huawei Cloud and the cloud native approach. We will be having some hands-on on Huawei Cloud, and then we have a Q&A session and definitely a quiz and reward session. So most of you already know me, but for those who are new or they are joining for the first time, so here is a little introduction about myself. You can follow me on LinkedIn as well, and on the forum as well. My ID is Bashir.ahmad.2016, or you can search me like Bashir Ahmad Zishan. So here's a little introduction about myself. So now going to the slides again. As I discussed, these are 3 sessions which we will be conducting regarding Huawei Cloud, because we want to deep dive into the Huawei Cloud, which is one of the most uprising cloud service provider in the world. And you will be glad to know that it's been on in top 5 now. Previously, we had some giants in cloud service provider, but now Huawei is one of the leading one and also hitting the top 5th position. So this is what we will be doing in next 3 webinars. So regarding this session, here is the agenda which we will be covering, starting with the little cloud recap, and then what is Huawei Cloud, just an introduction, and how it looks, how the console is, and then we will be looking the cloud native approach, which is a very unique set of operations and all that stuff, and then we will move to the basic topic, that is ECS, Elastic Service for the Compute, and then we have a hands-on lab for ECS and containerization. So let's start, and you can also add your input via chat box. So this is the first time we are doing session on the Jumo. So a little bit changed the environment, but mostly this is same. So you can write over here, and I'll jump to the chat window, and I'll see if there is any message or something. So I'll see, and I'll try to answer on a runtime. So regarding the generation of the cloud, like cloud 1.0, cloud virtualization, software defined network, and cloud native redesign. These are three words which you keep on listening from your industry, from your colleagues, your partners, your friends. But what these cloud native redesign is, how software is taking place and overcoming the hardware requirements. So we will be discussing all that thing. Before going to these topic, I'll try to recap on a very quick basis just to align everyone on the same page. Uh, what we will be discussing. So we'll start with little with the cloud because most of them already know about these stuff. But just to make on the same page, we know what is cloud, how cloud works, but just a quick recap. So we have heard a thousand definitions from the cloud. What is cloud computing? You can write on the chat box what is cloud computing as well. And meanwhile, I'll share a basic definition which is from the NIST, that is National Institute of Standard and Technology. That every service, all the, every services like computing service or you can say networking services, which is are in the shared pool and which is available every time and can be metered, like it can be charged. So it is called cloud computing. Or you can say all the resources which we use in the computing, either it is compute resource service, it could be a networking services, it could be a storage, it could be any specialized service like AI, IoT, big data services, which can be shared, which is from the shared pool and anybody can use. So it could be termed as a cloud computing. And what are the types of cloud computing? Just a quick glance of it, we have heard that public cloud and the private cloud and then hybrid cloud. We know public cloud is available for all, private cloud is something which is only available to us. Us could be to myself, to my organization, to my country, or to my some certain. And hybrid cloud is the combination of both. I'll be very quick for this because these are the very limited topic. We already know these topics. So just to recap, and then we have a community cloud which is being served for some particular group of people or university or some NGO. And then we have heard two words like multi-cloud and hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is nothing but a combination of a public and a private cloud. And where multi-cloud is a combination of different providers. For example, my company is working on Huawei Cloud as well as a vendor cloud as well. So we are serving two clouds. So that is called. Now it's a very quick introduction of all that stuff. Now I would like to little introduce about Huawei Cloud. Huawei, as I said, has a extensive experience of 30 years of all that ICT. Like Huawei is very much on the top on 5G and related technologies, but on the cloud service now it's start growing, and now you will be amazed to see that it's on the first top five position, as I said you earlier, and also in on the second position in the China, and has many regions and zones. What are these? We'll discuss. But these are some industry-specific solutions which Huawei is providing, uh, is showing over here. And then we just got to know about little introduction of Huawei Cloud. So this is, you can say, the console. We'll be looking what this is. This is just a simple snapshot, but we'll be looking what these are option, what these numbers are like. This is the login plane, this is the console plane. What are these? We'll be seeing in our second part. Okay. Now these are the services which Huawei is already provided. As I told you that either it is compute, either it is storage, or it's networking or database, whatever. You just name it and you have that service available. So we will be focusing on the compute in this session, then we will focusing on the network on the later one, and then we will make the solution out of it like something over here in our last session. So please stay together. We'll be having some fun. Now, our main topic which we are focusing is about to start. So before that, I'll request everyone if you could just put a one line in the chat box. What do you think cloud can entertain? Or you can give me one short example that how you are using cloud right now. on individual level or maybe on your enterprise or your company level. It could be like a simple like I use cloud for storing my uh, pictures and videos. This is one best example which everyone is being using. Or you can use we our whole company network is on cloud. Web development is a very good example. So I'll be looking the on a chat box to see the example which you are sharing. So before you are sharing all that stuff, meanwhile I'll show you some pre-cloud era. Before going to the cloud, what we were having our servers, and we maintain servers for everything. Like we have a we had one email server, we had one web server, we had one database server, and these all are isolated and they are managed by different teams according to their need. But what if our database server is growing but our email server is stuck somewhere? So our resources are not being used very properly. So what we decided to shift into another virtualization environment. Like we have one big environment of server, and then we make VMs on it. VM is nothing but a logical, you can say, logical demarcation of a server. So now one server is consist of two logical servers. One is email server and one is database server. Database server could be of on her higher side, like more RAM, more network capacity, more CPU usages, while email server has a low specification, and it could be changed according to my need. But what's the issue comes with it? For example, if we need to change any specification, for example, I want to change uh, memory like RAM of database server, though I need to shut down both servers and then I need to reinitiate the process with some higher capacity. And these all operation will be done during in the outage window. It could not be done during live environment without an outage. So then we had another shift, that is containerization. We will be discussing what are this containerization, how it affects, and how it helps us. So this is very little introduction about pre-cloud era. This is what we were discussing in the start. Like why do we need in starting? We have only in the starting of the cloud era. You can say the first generation of cloud computing. Uh, we had only VMs, and we manage our servers using Zen server, KVM servers, and then we what we do, we make VMs according to our need. But in Cloud 2.0, the software tried to overcome the hardware requirements, and then we started software-defined integration. What is that? Like we started using OpenStack or some cloud provider like AWS, and then VMware and something like that. But it has some issues. But in Cloud 3.0, the application started to become cloud native with the use of Docker, Kubernetes. And then what are these words and why I am telling you these words? We discuss what Docker is, how it works, and how it makes our application simple to operate, simple to use. So let's jump into the that part. Cloud native approach or cloud native is nothing. You can say it helps organization to build and run a scalable operation application in modern environment such as public private cloud uh, in form of containers. Like we used to have virtual machines where we install all our applications. I'll show you one figure and then I'll try to explain. In initial days, if you can see my screen, initial days we have a hardware and then we have an operating system and we install application over it. It's a simple mechanism. And if we need another server, then we will build another server over here. But for example, this is one server and it has an hardware, then we have an operating system, and then we have some application over here. And if the capacity of this hardware is full, then we need to build another system. But in a virtualization environment, or you can say in a VM environment, it's very easy. Then we have a hardware operating system, then we have a layer of hypervisor. hypervisor could be in KVM, it could be in any VMware software or something like that. And then we built a logical virtual machines over here. You can say virtual, it means it's not physical, it's a imaginary, you can say, machine. So a single hardware can have two or three or more machines. But the issue, as I told you earlier, that if I need to change the specification of this machine, we need to disrupt all the available machine over here, and then we will make the operation. But in the container phase, or you can say in a cloud native approach, or you can say containerization world, what we have in our hardware or our server or our, the hardware could be our server, could be our PC, my laptop, could be a cloud computing, cloud service providers hardware, it could be any, you can say, combination of servers. Then we install operating system, it could be Linux or Windows, and then we install one more software, the container runtime, it could be a Docker or Rocket or whatever, but we will focus Docker over here. What Docker does, it helps to make a container is nothing. If you just remember an example of large ships where the containers are fixed over here, every container has a unique owner, has a different set of material in that container, and every container is isolated with the other container. If I can show you a picture of container, then you can easily recognize what containers are. Container, you already know that. So the concept is already taken from the real world example. Like these containers, it is lying on the shipyard, and every container has a different set of equipment or material in it. So same example goes over here. Here the every container could have different set of information available. For example, if I take example of Huawei website, and one container could be a login, one container could be for a sign up process, one container could be for search mechanism, one container for forward operations, and every process is subdivided into containers. So all are isolated, but all are somehow connected over the cloud native approach. And when you go for the cloud native approach, you are vendor independent. We'll see what are the parameter cloud native provide us and what are the benefit. So you will get to know what is basic requirement. So now if I go back to the slide, this is the example which I have give you for the VM. Virtual machine is nothing but a server, then we have an operating system, and then hypervisor layer, and then and each hypervisor layer will create a different set of virtual machines, and each virtual machine is separate. You can say a logical machines. So everyone has a OS operating system, then the libraries, and then applications. And the benefits are like single, it is a virtualized environment, and you can say less physical intervention is required, but different virtual environment is there. But on the another side, on the container side, what we can see, uh, container is also an isolated mechanism, but the benefit is that on hardware we have one OS. In container we don't need any guest OS. So it's mean each container is used the OS of the servers. So it helps, it make it faster and easy to deploy and easy to use. We'll compare the container and virtual machine in the next slide. Then you will get to know what are the benefits of using containers. For example, just on the lighter side, if I say Docker is a container and VMware is for the VM virtual machine, so the size of VM is very high, like an elephant, but Docker container are very small, like a rat, and they are very fast, like cheetah. And but the startup time for VM is more like a server, like at least a minute or something. But container needs a seconds to boot up and um, start working. In the on the side of integration, how to add VM, it's very difficult or let's cumbersome. But on the other side, the integration of container are very easy and very fast. This is a very good example. Now get back to that slide, which help us understand how containers are being built over private environment and on the cloud. In the this slide, we have two figures. The right one is showing how containers are built. For example, we have a server in our lab, and then we have a host OS like operating system. It could be a Linux, it could be Windows, and then we install a software that is called Docker Engine. There are so many softwares available, but Docker is most famous. There is Rocket or something like that as well. Sorry, but on the other hand, each container, like this is one container and this is another container, it only has application installed and some libraries or binary files. And you can see sometimes a container has one application and one library. Sometimes a container could be combination of two. An application could be and a container contain more than one applications. But when it comes to the cloud service provider, it's not easy that they will build multiple servers or thousands of servers. So they use the benefit of both. They create a machine on using a hypervisor. It means they are creating virtual machines, and each virtual machine has having multiple container over it. So they are using a benefits of containerized environment, which are very fast, and they are also using the benefits of VM to make isolations. So so far so good. If any question, you are always welcome to ask. So we have discussed the virtual machine and containers, and I'll try to little fast. So because most of the things are being known by you, so we'll consider more time on our lab and our main agenda. Okay. So when we go for the microservices level, so, as I discussed in cloud native approach, what we do, we create our application into thousands and millions of small parts like microservices. I'll give you one basic example. You can just name a website, any website. For example, the website of Huawei Cloud. We should have multiple tier available. One is web tier, which is visible to us, and then we have a service layer which is working behind, and then we have a monolith data layer where all data is stored. So every website has three layers normally. This is the previous approach. Now what we happened, we have divided our whole website, our whole application into chunks of a smaller part. If I'll give you example of microservices with our meeting. For example, we are conducting our meeting in a Zoom. So if it were using the monolithic approach, then what could be the layers available to us? For example, it could be one presentation layer which is being shown on your screen. One could be the storage where all data are being stored. One is the processing layer where everything processing is being done. But now, as we know, that most of the companies are already approaching toward the cloud native, and they are experiencing the microservices approach. So what if I say that this Jomo is being constructed over the microservices approach? So every part, like I'm sharing my screen, this could be in one microservice. When you are signing up or logging in, this could be a one microservices. The video which is being broadcast to you could be a one microservice. The chat operation, which could be a one microservices. The participation list or all the record of that users or could be one microservices. So you can say multiple or thousand of microservices are being amalgamated or joined, and then will make a one big large distributed set of function. What is the benefit of that? By dividing your whole application, your whole software, your website into a smaller chunk, that is easy to maintain, easy to accommodate, easy to construct, and easy to update as well. So this is one good example for the microservices. Okay, now you could have asked one question: why do we need to go for microservices when our websites, our application are very good with monolith approach? So why do we need to shift to that microservices approach, or why do we need to go for the cloud native approach? So I'll share two things, then you will decide yourself how good they are. First of all, if your application, now most of the applications or websites are very dynamic. For example, if you are reading a blog or a forum, they keep on updating it every second. Or maybe you are browsing on your social media page, every second the data is being updated, and new files and new pictures are being uploaded over here. So the change of uh, rate of change is very high, or you can say the rapid growth is there. And also the functions are keep on changing. You have noticed so many changes on Huawei platform for last few years. So they keep on changing. So it's very easy if you go with the microservice. The change is very easy. It's very fast. The deployment time is very low. The automatization is also there. When it was monolith approach, then if you need to change one parameter, that it could affect all, you can say, website or a whole application or a whole system has been affected by with single effect. But on the microservice level, if change is made on sign up, only sign up could be disturbed, not all that part. So this is one more good example of microservices. As I keep on telling you the advantages of cloud native approach, there are some more advantages which helps you understand how good how good it is. For example, I said you that it is very fast release time, because you keep on changing, the growth rate is very high, so you need very fast release. And experience of customer is very enhanced, because when you uh, distributed your whole architecture, either could be a website or could be an application, the experience of customer will be increased. And also the management is easy. If somebody is complaining that, like, I cannot change my password, or I am forgetting my password option is not working, so you will just only focus on that microservice or the container which is associated with the forget option, and you will work on it. And of course the cost is reduced. Now you can ask how cost is being reduced with the use of cloud native approach. Like servers are being used same, all the operations are very easy. But when you deploy container, it is easy to manage and it's secure. So your application is independent of the infrastructure. So by using containerization and cloud, your cost is, you can say, minimized. So if a person is using monolithic approach and then he moves to the microservices approach, their overall operational opex cost will be decreased. And the last one advantage of is avoid vendor lock-in. When your application or your website is cloud native, it's mean it's not vendor dependent. It was that time has gone when you were dependent, like this is a system which is already working for last 10 years, and it is not uh, looked by anybody else except the vendor. Now it's cloud native. Any system, like for example, I build a container, I can run on any cloud, either it's an Huawei cloud, it's my on premises cloud, Kubernetes based, or maybe ABC vendor, or maybe your own cloud. So it is available and it is easy to work to everyone. This is very good advantage for the cloud native. As the name shows, the cloud is native, now you can work with anybody. So uh, if I further deep down on cloud native approach, there are four basic layers which normally we working on. First part is application part. You already know what is application part. Like your application, for example, your database, your website, your web servers. This is the application phase, where all your application, your mobile application, everything lie on that layer. Then we have a provisioning of an infrastructure layer, where you construct your network. For example, like we will be developing ECS resources, we will be developing our VPCs, all the construct which are being used in the cloud environment to uh, to help us to install our application. This is the second layer. The third layer is the containerization layer, where all the containerization, or you can say virtualization of server are being done. And the last layer is you can say deployment or orchestration. When you have thousand or millions of container, it's not easy to maintain. You need some platform like Kubernetes to manage all that containers. Can you tell me, for example, we have very famous uh, searching website, the Google. Do you understand or do you guess how many container he spins up in 1 week? Anybody can tell me in chat box. Otherwise, I'll be sharing. Like how many container Google runs in 1 week? You can write on chat box. So meanwhile, you are writing or searching that information. Let's get back to the slide. So we were discussing what are the containers and how they, Lucas, very good answer, many, but how many are there? Like, is it 100, tens, million, 10 million, 20 million, billion, or whatever the number is? Thank you for your input. Okay, Docker. Docker is a software which helps us to make container. For example, if you can see the logo of, you will get to know what Docker is. As I show you one picture of containers, uh, container is isolation, or you can say a solo, where all your applications are uh, stored over here, or you can say wrap over in the container. So how these containers are made, how they are constructed, because Windows cannot make it, Linux cannot make it, I cannot make it. So there is one software that is called Docker. Docker is software which help us to create. We'll try to add Docker in our Huawei Cloud as well, and then we will make containers, and we'll run that container in the background and we'll see the output. So Docker is basically a popular software which we are using. So this is a basic diagram of how containers are made. At client end, what we do, we build a container and then we pull, maybe we can build it, or we can pull, we can take from container from somewhere else, and then we run it container. Run is something like we are opening container so application can come out. If you I'll give you a common life example. What happened at shipyard? Some container comes from other country, some container goes from my country. So when container comes in to the shipyard, we deliver to the owner, and then owner open it and get all the applications and all the equipment available in that container. So at the client side, what we do, we either we build a container or we ship it and give it to the ship, and then the ship sails it out. Or we take ship container from the ship, and then and ask ship to sail this container to other country. So same example on the internet, either we make a container or we push the container to the registry. Registry is nothing but an you can say a storage location for the container. So this is a one simple diagram for your understanding. Acha, we will see that example of configuration when we'll go on the lab. Just to give an example. Now, before moving to our next topic, that is uh, our about ECS, that is the main topic which we are focusing. That what is ECS and how Huawei providing their services. If you have any question, you are please feel free to ask. Okay, ECS is the most common and most important service on Huawei Cloud. As you all know, that it is used for providing compute services using virtual CPUs, memories, images. Images is nothing but an operating system with some disks and all that available option. Like everything which is available on your laptop and computer can be available on the cloud using this ECS service, that is elastic cloud service. That service that provide you flexible billing method. Either it could be yearly, monthly, or even pay per use. If I use for half an hour, I'll pay for half an hour. And this service is very popular and most widely used because of its use cases, or also because of their advantages. For example, what are the use cases? For example, you need to build a website on cloud. You need to build a database server. You need to build your video encoding, whatever. You need to build any software to communicate, maybe for conducting trainings on webinars. So ECS could be used. ECS is nothing but your computer or laptop on the internet, on the Huawei cloud. So you can use it according to your need. Okay, so it has some very unique features, like security mechanism is very much inbuilt in it. You can auto scale. It's mean you can add and decrease the number of ECS as per your use. You don't need to go manually and add, now I need two more servers, let's build two more servers. No, you just build auto scaling means the server will be added as per the, when the utilization of server 1 reaches 80%, now server 2 start building up. So as soon as it reaches 90%, then we have available one more set of server with us. So that is called auto scaling. Now, how ECS can help us, or where ECS can be, like how compute services are available. Like it will be ECS, as I told you that. Then we have DH. DH is dedicated host. Sometime due to security or licensing requirement, or you can say from some critical operation, you need dedicated host. You don't want a share host. You can ask Huawei Cloud to provide you a dedicated host, and then you will build your application and your environment as per your need. So when you are constructing ECS, there are some parameter you need to add. Some are basic requirements, some connected with the network part, and some are with the advanced settings. So like for example, billing mode, I told you what billing mode is, like how much, how I will pay to Huawei Cloud. Either I want to pay it yearly, definitely it will be a little competitive rate, or I want to pay it as a monthly or pay as use. Like for example, we are testing it, we will test, so we don't want to be charged on a monthly basis. We just want, we, how much we will use, we will be charged. That is called pay per use. How much I will use, I will pay that amount. Either it would be $10 or could be $1,000. And then we have a region and zone. Regions and zones are, like you can say, uh, availability of that Huawei cloud. Like you say, Huawei cloud is available in different part of countries. They have data center in China, they have data center in South America, they have in South Africa, they have in Singapore as well. So where do you want to build that? And then we have a requirement of CPU. Which, how much CPU do you want? For example, I want to build an application. This is very CPU hungry, so I will select 128 virtual CPUs and 64 GB memory, or all the specification should be mentioned over here. And then image is which sort of operating system I will be using, how much storage I will need to add in my server. And then security group, which port to be allowed, which port should not be allowed, which IP should not be allowed, and I need a static IP so I can communicate with my server remotely or from the internet. And then we have some advanced setting, like we need to give some login credential, username, password, or maybe a key set, or we can put it into a group set of group, like this is the group of my web servers, so all my ECS will go into that group. And then we will enable some backup options, how these options are available. So I'll try to open Huawei Cloud now, and meanwhile again request, if you have any question or search or any input from your side, you are welcome to add. Okay, this is let me show you again. This is the screen for Huawei Cloud. Okay, this is the main screen of Huawei Cloud. Any website of any cloud service provider you can see. So this is a website of Huawei. All that marketing stuff, all the details of services available with the prices and every details written over here. But what we need to do, we need to log in. So we'll click on login. because I already have an account, we don't need to register. I can select the language, and then I select the username and then ID and then my password. Okay, so I get login now. I can see the console option. Click on the console, and we are good to go. The console is visible to you. Can anyone write on the chat box if console is visible to you on the screen?
Yes, it is visible.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the console. Uh, thank you. This is the console with all the information available with us. For example, if I start with the top bar, we have a logo for Huawei Cloud, then the region which I'm telling. I can configure my service in Hong Kong, or I can configure in Mexico, uh, in Shanghai, wherever I want. So I select, or maybe a Beijing as well. I select Hong Kong, and then I can set something. These are the options available. But what is the main thing? This is a service list. Every services which is being offered by Huawei Cloud is being shown over here. So they have divided, like, this is the services regarding to ECS. All the services of compute is here, storage is here, networking services is here, databases, application, security. You just name it and you just have it. IoT, big data, cloud communication, every service is available. And if I want to thumb it, I can thumb over here, or you can say make favorite. So I just make favorite these steps. So I'll click on Elastic Cloud Server because this is the topic which we are covering. So you can follow me, or thank you. Okay, so this is the dashboard for ECS. So all the options are shown over here are related to the ECS. You can see my mouse pointer as well. So all the options are related to over here. So what we are doing first in first step, we need to build a simple Elastic server, and then we'll do the operations and we'll do all the work. So how it's deployed, let's come to that. First of all, we'll click on buy CS. Okay, so here are a bunch of options available. Now I told you that billing mode is available. I can use yearly, monthly, pay per use, or spot. Spot is nothing but you just bid your option, and if it is available, they will give you the spot price. It's very cheap, but it's not reliable. If somebody else comes, then it will be lost. So it's always good if you use pay per use if you need some testing or some minimum operation. But if you are working for an environment where your 24/7 operation is being worked, so normally people go for the yearly and monthly users. And I'll select Hong Kong, and then right now I don't mind if it configured in AZ1, data center one, or 102. So I select random. It's mean if I create one ECS, it will create on in one AZ. But if I create on second one, then it will create on the other one. Then we have a CPU architecture. Either it could be x86 or Kunpa. So I select general purpose. And one good thing is that when you create an account for a Huawei Cloud, they will give you some free services. For example, right now I'm charging, um, they are charging like something 0.038 USD per hour. But if for this machine, this is a very small machine, one virtual CPU, 2 GB RAM. But if I select this machine, this is literal high combination, two virtual CP and 4 GB. But you can see free package because I have activated free package, so I won't be charged if I use this one. But if I use this one, then I'll be charged for some amount. So let's go with the S3 large 2. That is two virtual CPU and 4 GB RAM, right? Then calm down, and now he's asking for the image. I told you image is like your operating system. I select CentOS, which is a Linux flavor, and then I select CentOS 8.2, which is the latest one. Then asking for system disk, I just need one system disk. I don't need an additional system disk. 40 GB is okay for me. Then I'll click, which is a network part. Now he's asking for VPC. VPC is for right now. It's nothing. It's a network. Which like in our cloud, the big cloud we have divided our network into virtual into two three parts. So I select one part that is not used. You will see in next part. And then the important thing is that security grip, because when you go to the cloud everything is visible to the internet, but I want everything to be blocked. My all incoming traffic is blocked except which I'll give. So I said, don't use full access. Let me create a security group for me, because I'm building a container. So which is like, say, I'll build a web server on it, so I can offer a website. So I use for general purpose, and I select custom ports. So general purpose web server. Okay, so if I select this or template, now port 22 will be open, port 80 and port 443, which are the port of web servers. Port 80 is for web server, port 443 is port number for HTTPS, and port 22 is, is for the SSH. If I want to access my my web server, fine. Now select. Now I select my the create which I creates a security group, right? Now, if I need EIP, that is Elastic IP, if I want to use it, auto assign, or if I have existing one or not required. If I select not required, then I will not be able to access my web server from internet because it doesn't have any static IP. So I use auto assign. Then you want to use internet. If you select build mode, it's mean you need a heavy bandwidth. If you need traffic, it's a little mild. So I'll select this option with 5 MB per second is okay for me, because I don't need to download the heavy traffic. Or even I can select 10 MB. That is no issue. Okay, now this option is regarding the advanced security, which I told you. I can name my web server, or I could name any one. This is the default one. Then how do I want to log in that server, using key pair or password? I want to use the password. Username is root, and I select some password, but it should be at least 8 character long. You know that. Okay, now we have selected username and password for accessing that machine. So if we need to configure or we need to take some login, and then we don't need any backup or recovery right now, and then we create confirm. So it will show you the brief introduction about everything which you have selected. Like in the basic part, you have selected this option. Use paper, use mechanism, use general purpose computing. This is the system disk. This is the image or OS. So you can say some information are very critical. Like you need to select the region and AZ. You need to select image, what image you want to use, and do you need security group? Security group is an option, but region, AZ, image, are, or you can say blink mode, are very important. They are must, you can say. And then how many number of ECs I can request? Right now I'm requesting one. I just click on I read the experiment and then submit. So it will take little time, and then it will create an ECS for me. And then when ECS is ready, I can access it. So now you can see the ECS is ready. Right now it's being created. You can say the status is created. When it is available, then I'll be logging in. Okay, now you can see. Okay, now you can see the status is running. Now I can use this machine. So how can I use this machine? For example, right now this machine is empty, no software is installed, no nothing is available. So I need to get a login over here. I can take login from my putty or something, but there is one more good advantage of Huawei Cloud. They give you a remote login option over the your browser. If I click on the remote login, a window will be open. Okay, now you can see the login is available. You know, we created the ECS with our CentOS image. CentOS is a Linux machine. So now it is prompting for login. I'll write root because my username was root. And the password I created was. Now you can see how welcome to Huawei Cloud Services. It's mean now I can get a login in my server. So now I can do any operation, whatever. So if I write a command uname minus a, so just to show you, let me, so this is the Linux machine available. This is something to show what the system is all about. Now what we have to do, first of all, we'll check if internet is available to the system. The system is available to internet. I can ping to check if internet is available. I can ping to any IP of public IP of over the internet. So you can see the it is pinging. It's been the internet is available on the system, and definitely I can use the public IP of my machine to access as well. So we have one question. The public IP is given is fixed. Okay, we have used one Elastic IP. Yes, this is like you can say I can copy right now and put it here. So this is fixed. I can uh, this IP is available as soon as I use it. Right now nothing is configured, so website is cannot reach. You can, thank you for the question. Good. Okay, now what we need to do, we will provide some operations on this. First of all, what we will do, I'll show you that what is the specification of this computer. For example, if I say we created a system with two virtual CPUs or with 4 GB RAM. Is it the same which is provided to us? So there are some commands on Linux. If it is on the Windows machine, you can easily go to the my computer and see all that stuff. But but this is the Linux machine, so we need to use this command CPU info, and then sorry, let me let me write again. This command for CPU input. This is a very big command. I will just select the exact processor option for you. So you can see the processor is 2. Actually, the output is very big. So I just grab exact the word of processor with the count only. If I select only processor, then you will see the processors. Okay, and now I'll this is the running processor 0 and 1. number. What are the numbers? There are two processor, but I put one more command, wc minus l, so they will count both processor values and then show you. Okay, now if I go for the memory, because CPU is confirmed, it is two virtual CPUs. But if I say what about the memory, let me do the graph again. So this is the available memory, that is close to 4 GB. So we are good with available resource. Now what we have to do, we need to do three things. First of all, we will install Docker, so that will help us to create container. Then we will create one container, or we can push one container from the internet repository, and then we will run that container, and then we'll show the output of that container to you. So are you ready with for this? So first of all, what we will do, we'll install Docker. Right now we don't have a Docker available. Docker version. If I write Docker version, Docker is not found, because right now this system or this ECS is empty. There's nothing available over here. Right now, what I'll do, I'll install Docker over here. So there are some command I'll show you. I'll give you on chat box as well, and I'll put that command. I'll give you that command. Just a second. Just a second. Okay, when there are two options to give a command to that panel, to that console, either you write it, or there is one more option which is paste and send. You can copy command over here, and then uh, give command to the. First of all, we'll update. These are the for installing a Docker. Let me share with you as well. So right now we have repo add for the container. So these are the available Docker repositories. So total you want to install, yes. So all the repositories or the requirement file is being downloaded and installing. All the commands which I run, I'll give you on chat box as well. Now you see there are 23 repositories available in that. So right now installing 41. 40. Now you can see it's complete. So these are the installed packages in the Docker. And now I'll start Docker service, but and enable as well. Okay, the Docker is installed. Or now how I'll check if it is installed and what is the version. I'll put the command Docker version. Sorry. So Docker is installed with this version. Now Docker is installed. You can see the commands I have given you in the chat box as well. Now I'll clear the screen. So now I can build any container, or I can download a container which is called uh, getting container from repository. So let's start with a very basic container, which is HTTPD, which is nothing but our server. Right now, our IP, our server doesn't have any software. So let's run something over it. So we'll create a Docker container name as Huawei, or we can say Huawei Web. Okay. So right now it doesn't have any image available with HTTP, so it's downloading. Now I can see Docker, which is the command for checking available images. Now you can see one image is available over here, which is size of 138 MB. So it's mean a web server with uh, with the name of our web uh, with the repository of HTTP, which is a service of web server. So now you can compare a web server on a system is at least of GBs, but this is only of 138 MB. So this is one more example of container. So but right now I have downloaded this container into my ECS, but it's not being run. So what I'll do, I'll start this container. Okay, so if I uh, refresh it right now, nothing is happening. So I'll run Docker start. Now it is start. Okay, now I'll run command. Now because Docker image was downloaded, now this container is run. So how I would see Docker container. Now you can see it is status is up for last 20 seconds, and it's working on port number 80 on 80 port 80. So if I again, let's open in the incognito mode. Let's see why it's not opening, or we can see check locally. Maybe the port is not allowed. We will write curl with our local IP. This IP is local IP. It's been service is running on my local machine, which is ECS. You can see the port number 80 is 80 connection is refused. So let me see the security group. So that is one more good troubleshooting. Like we have used this security group with our machine. Let me check which security group is being used. So this is a security grim which is I use. So right now the ports outbound, this is inbound rules, like coming into my server and going to server. So I check. These are the ports available: port 80, 443, 3389. Right. Okay. So right now we have just opened this container and it is running. But right now we what we have done, we have not given any port over it. So what we will do first, I'll delete this container and then I'll make it again. Docker, sorry, Docker, Docker, stop. Okay, so to remove, I need to remove this port because I have mentioned the port available with it. So I'll run the command again. So let me clear screen. Now Docker run name we have given like Huawei, or we can say Huawei web, and then minus D is detach mode, and then minus P means port. Now we are giving the port 8080 against 80 because 80 port is not visible. Normally we don't make it visible. We will make it 8080, and then we will use the image HTTPD. Now I can see Docker container. Now it is running, and also you can see it is redirecting traffic to port 8080. And now I can see port this over here. But before going to that again, we need to open port 8080 because right now we don't allow this port in our security group. So I'll go to my security group. This is SG, and add one more rule over here. So I'll click add rule and port 8080 over here with any IP. Right now I'm not restricting any IP. Now you can see one more rule is added with port 8080, right? Now if I click over here and write 8080, now you can see my web page is visible. It is work. Simple web page is nothing to show, but you can say I download one Docker image from the internet, and which is HTTP, and then I run this container. It's me. I open that container and I run it, and my output is visible. Even you can open this website as well. So this is one pre-made. Now also I can make our file and run that image as well. So we try to do this thing as well in very short time, very fastly. So I have created one Docker file for you. Let's do that as well. So then you will see what is this. There is one command, Docker pull. It's mean I am downloading one more image. Both command are same, but it's from my repository. Previously, it was from the Docker, which is like we were using HTTPD, which is public to all. But this is my repository. I am downloading from here. I have made for you like V8. Yes, this one. Now it is downloading. Now if I see if it is downloaded, Docker image, just what are the images available? So I can see two images available. One is HTTPD, which is public image, and then one repository from my hub, that is Engineer Baz at HW. So what is available in my file, which is very small, 22 MB available. So what is this? Let's see. So I'll run Docker run. I can name it as new 8 just to make any name like minus p. Now I need to change the port because previously my server was running on port 8080. Now I need to give some other port 8500 there now. I can give you 8500 and then it should point to the port 80 and use this image. Now I have run my image. I downloaded my image and then run it. So this is available. Now, can anyone tell me if it is visible on website as well or not? Will it visible or not? So this is running now. Running status is 15 seconds. It means it has been running for last 15 seconds. So if I open uh, the same IP with 8500 port, will it open or not? Or what do you think? You can write in a chat box. Will it open or not? Okay, right now it will not open because we have not. Okay, thank you for your input, but I don't think so. It will open because right now this port is not allowed in our security group. Let's try for your ease, but meanwhile you can see it's not opening. So I'll go. Thank you, Mamosh, and thank you, Tawanda, for your input. So I will add one more rule with because cloud is a secure environment, so we block all the ports. We'll just allow which is being used right now. So 8500 is a port I want to allow. I said okay. Now this is my security group. These are the you can say the list of ports which I want to allow to my server. I told Huawei Cloud that these are the port I can allow. Otherwise, remaining all ports are closed. So now I'll try if it is opening or not. Now you can try the website also, and you can say check your website. So I just made a simple web page for you last night just to show this is our containerized app. So there are two things also clear from this small lab that I created this website on my Windows machine, and I created this on Windows 10, and now I'm running this application on Linux with different flavors on the Huawei Cloud. So everything is different. Like hardware is different, software is different, but my container, my website is different. My is working. For example, if I create my website and then give it to you via USB or email, maybe you were not able to run. But with the containerization, it is very okay. Now, okay, security is very important percent. Yes, you are very right. Able to open. Thank you. So this is the good demonstration of everything which we have learned so far. So just a quick recap for your eyes. Uh, Basically, I'll show you the screen. So what we do in the lab, we did two things. First of all, we created ECS and everything. We deployed ECS. ECS is available. We installed Docker on it. In the second part, we again did three things. First, we download one image from international repository, that is docker.hub, which is HTTPD, which is a simple web server which was working in 8081. You can see still it is running. Port number what, 8080. So it's been both websites are working together. This is one more advantage of uh, containerization and web server. Two Both websites are working, right? Okay. So and then we download that image HTTPD. We run this image, and our website was live. Second example, we use a repository from not a public domain, from my domain, and then we again run that container, and we are able to open that website as well. But meanwhile doing all that stuff, we allow security group, some security groups, and we keep on changing everything. We install Docker and everything. uh, okay, able for me, thank you, Lucana. uh, Tambo, thank you. So okay, so for this part we have covered everything which were decided. So still you have any question you can ask. uh, Meanwhile, I'll request Miss Alina to proceed with some questions and everything she has to present.
Yes, thank you.
Uh,
Um,
just one thing: whenever you work on any cloud, if your resources are not used, you need to stop that resource. How can you stop that resources? You go to the main page and you need to stop or delete that resource. Otherwise, you keep on getting the bills. So I'll delete that resource, release my elastic IP. There is one question: if this IP is available to me, if I release, then it will be released. I won't be charged. Otherwise, I can delete my ECS, my compute server, but my IP will remain and keep on charging. I don't want this IP to keep, and then I delete all the data. Yes. Now
okay,
it's keep
thank
on
you.
deleting. Miss Elisa.
Um, just want to say that this webinar was hosted by the Huawei Enterprise Support Community, which is the official technical community for all Huawei products, solutions, and certifications. We already have over 220,000 members and an extensive knowledge base with over 62,000 posts to learn from. The average solving time for technical issues is under 24 hours, so you'll receive a solution very fast. We also have a public recognition and reward system for the most active members, but for the regular members as well. We have an online shop with redeemable gifts. We also have the Elite Users Program, which rewards the most active members of our community with different user roles, for example, being a webinar host like Bashir is today. And also a Hall of Fame where the most outstanding members of the community will be publicly displayed. And last but not least, we have monthly activities and webinars like this one, where we also offer prizes. And for today's session, if Bashir can move to the next slide, please.
Sorry,
Don't worry.
please.
Okay, so I will update the webinar post now as we speak, and I will send you the link. In order to get a chance to win, you'll have to go to the webinar post in the community, and here, this is the link. And in order to win one of the gift cards we are offering, you need to reply the 3
Managed.
questions in a comment under the post. Okay, so as you can
If
see, yeah,
yes, there's a one question I want to reply to that question
sure,
that is
sure,
wrote.
sure.
There's one very good question. There is another way to use container without installing the ECS first. We used ECS for running our containerization, or we use ECS for running our containers and building our application. But these containers can be run on any server, bare metal servers, or any virtual machine, even on your laptop, or even Huawei also provide you a service which allows you to run container directly. You don't need to manage all that stuff. But just because we want to cover both topics, that's why I use ECS, and then I deployed ECS resource and then install Docker and everything, and then start deploying container and creating websites. But you can do the same thing using the Docker managed Docker services, which are provided by Huawei Cloud as well. So where you just go and use your service to deploy your container. All the stuff, infrastructure, power, everything will be maintained by Huawei. You just go and use the service as a containerization. Your all containers will be run when, and also there is one more service for the Kubernetes. Currently we use 2 or 3 containers, but when you have thousands and million of containers, then you need some service to maintain all these containers. So they have elastic service for managing Kubernetes as well. So your all containers are taken care of. So I hope this is very brief answer. Yes, this is a managed service. Very good. And thank you for the question. Very good question.
Okay, so I just want to mention again that in order to win one of the prizes we are offering today, this is the link where everyone needs to go to leave a comment under this post. And also, if you want to support Bashir and leave your feedback for this session, we've also created a voting post. Here is it. Please support Bashir by voting his session and by offering some feedback on, I don't know, topics we need to approach, any improvements that we need to make our webinars even better. So any feedback is useful, so please feel free to share it with us. Okay, so in case there are some other questions, I think that you can go to the forum post and add your question there. Bashir will check it and will reply. In case there are no other questions left for the moment, this was our webinar for today. Thank you all for attending, and please stay tuned for more webinars we will have in the future. And now Bashir will present the 3 questions. You can already find them in the post I sent the link to. If you want, Bashir, just say the 3 questions. Maybe it's better to.
Okay, I'll read it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So the question number 1 is very a good question and easy one.
yeah.
Huawei Cloud has only 2 regions. One is in China and other one is in Romania. So you need to select true or false. The second question is also very important. The cloud computing is a model for enabling ubiquitous, convenient, on-demand network access to shared pools of configurable computing resources such as network, server, storage, application, and service that can be repeatedly provisioned and released with a minimal management effort or service provider interaction. Is a definition by This is a definition of cloud computing, but which is provided by which company? Nest, Cloud Native Function, NASA, Cloud Authority, or IMF. And the third question is very important because it directly related with the ECS. So the question is, what are the common parameters while deploying ECS? Like you can say which options you need to select when you are deploying ECS service on Huawei Cloud. It could be region, cloud ID, image or OS, ISP gateway, or CPU architecture. You need to select 3. There are 5 options, but you need to select only 3. But in question 1 and question 2, you need to select only one question. First one is true, false. Second one is simple fill in the blank. And the third one is a multiple answer. So these 3 questions are very easy and very related. So you are open to answer. But please do not answer over here. The link was shared by Miss Alina. You can give over here.
Yes. Thank you. I think this was it for today. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Bashir, for hosting. And I hope to
Thank
see you all
you.
soon
Thank you, everyone.
in a new session. And have a nice day, evening, depending on where you're from. So thank you all.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
Thank you all. Goodbye.